Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm gonna do a project with paper napkin and baking greaseproof paper, baking parchment. We call it greaseproof paper in the UK, but I think we call it baking parchment other places. And I had in my garden story journal, I had an envelope made like this, and I said there was a video on how I did it, and somebody asked if I could link to the video, and then I couldn't find it, so I maybe didn't do one. I just meant to. So I thought I'd do one now. So this is the greaseproof baking paper that I am using. I got this from, I believe, Aldi. Yeah, it's from Aldi. Other supermarkets are available, but I like this one because it's brown, and they're not all brown in other places. They're white. So so yeah, that's why I use this one. And I couldn't remember which medium I'd used to make this, so I've experimented. So this was my first one that I tried that I thought was possibly how I did it, and it isn't. Now I don't know if you can see, there's a shiny sheen on that. I mean, it's nice, I like the feel. And the way I did this was I used glue stick. I buy the Q Connect glue stick because it's cheap as chips, and it does the job. So I stuck it down with that, and then over the top I used Deco Patch. Now I got this in the charity shop for £1.75, which is why I've got it, because it's quite expensive, and it gives this shiny finish. Now I've used this on photographs, you know, digital photographs that have printed out, and I've gone over them in this, and it gives a nice shiny effect. And I'd forgotten it give a shiny effect when I did this, but not wasted. Quite happy with that, and I will use it. And then these two are done with my matte gel medium. This is the one that I have, and I did one with, so one of them stuck on with glue stick, and then the matte medium on the top, and then this one was stuck down with the matte medium and the matte medium on the top. It actually doesn't really feel any different, so I do the glue stick first because you're using less of that. And this is, it does feel a little bit like the one that was in the journal, but I think this was the way that I did it. So this is a glue stick, and then I've used watered down PVA being like white school glue. I had somebody from America ask me what PVA was, and that's what it is. We call it PVA here, but it is just white school glue. And I water it down, and I put a few drops of re-inker in it to give it the sort of brownish colour. Now, because it's water-based, you get a bit of a wrinkle, and I quite like that. And that is the effect that I had on that other envelope. So I do think this was the version that I did in that particular journal. So, you know, it's up to you, the sort of finish that you like. I mean, this gives you a matte finish, and that's nice. This gives you a matte finish. The Deco Patch gives you that shiny finish. So it's the finish that you want. Now I'm going to go with my cheapest. I'm going to go with this. So I'm going to show you how I did it. So, and I've just realised I haven't got a blooming napkin out because that would be organised, and I didn't do it. So I'm just going to roll that out a bit, and I'm going to grab myself a paper napkin. Right, here we go. So going to use this one. It's kind of random, and I think this would work with an envelope because it is fairly non-directional, really. So we take the top layer off. Like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this underneath just so I can see the area that needs to have glue on it. So put it straight. Yeah, so then I'll cut this down. So stick you there. So I'm just going to get glue stick and I'm just going to cover parchment paper with the glue stick, and I can see the napkin underneath, or serviette as we tend to call them in the UK, so I can see where I need the glue. I like to put plenty on, but you are going to cover the top with glue, so it doesn't matter if there are some bits missed. I just find it a bit easier to lay down glue stick than wet glue at this stage, because if I can sort of move it a little bit with glue stick, whereas the wet glue, because it's like a dry glue, a dry wet glue, and the other, you can rip it a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go from the bottom, and I'm kind of using the napkin underneath that I can see to know I've got it in the right place. So I don't mind too many wrinkles. I think that adds quite a nice effect. But I can pull it up a little bit if need be. You do get a little bit of time, but as I say, I'm not massively bothered if there is some wrinkles. Right, so I'm just going to press that down a bit. So that I know it's adhered. Oh, that's stuck down a little bit on the side there. Right. Leave these to one side because I do use these for different things. And if nothing else, I use them to blow my nose. There we go. So that's that. So now we need to cover it in PVA. So this is watered down, and I just add a little bit of a re-inker so it gives it this browner colour. This is clear PVA, but you can get white. I'm just going to show you, just in case there's anybody that doesn't know. So I've used this, and I'm getting to the end of it, so I need to buy some more. I think I got this from the, did I get this from the Works or the Range? I can't remember. This was from the Range, it says it on it, Jez. So I was in the Works today and I did look at the PVA, but I didn't buy it. This is they call it kids glue, white glue. It is PVA, so this is the whiter version. I don't think it makes no difference, I don't think, which one you use of these. I did buy, I think you get, this is like an American brand, I think. Elmer's, and I think this is the same thing as PVA. It's just call it Elmer's. It says school glue, so that would work, but I bought this in the pound shop, I think. So I've got that if this runs out. So I'm just gonna pop this back in my glue cupboard. So quick glue explanation there. So now I've got, I'm just gonna brush this over so you can see there's a bit of colour going on, which I like the effect. It's gives it a bit of a vintage look. Don't have to ink it because you've added it to the glue. So I'm just going gently, because you can rip the napkin. And it's just another way of creating paper with a paper napkin. I've done it with freezer paper. I like that. That's really quick and easy. But this gives you a whole different feel. When you use freezer paper, it does just feel like a bit of paper that you've got. Whereas this adds texture, and you get sort of wrinkles, and it has a almost cloth-like quality to it. Takes quite a while to dry. I did the sort of prototypes to try and work out what I wanted. I did them this morning, and then I had lunch, went into town, came back, left it in the windowsill. We had a bit of sun. We haven't seen that haven't seen much of that lately. But when the sun comes through the window, it gets very hot, so it dries quite nicely. So the brown baking greaseproof paper, and the fact that it's got like a cream background, and then I'm using glue with a nice bit of brown in, it's giving this a lovely finish. So that's that. Checking for areas that might not be quite done. There we go. Give that brush a wash after. So that's that. So I would now leave this to dry. Sometimes I do them like at night before I'm going to bed, and then they're dry in the morning, but that is quite wet. So I'm just going to put this on the floor behind me, and hope I don't forget. So in true Blue Peter style, this is one I did earlier. Now it is quite rough, and you can do a little bit of sanding on if you want to, and it will smooth it down. So I've done that, and it's a lot smoother. Than that side. So that is an option for you, but I'm not going to bother. So I'm just going to trim, didn't come out my mouth very well, trim down the edges of this. going to stick that. I'm going to stick that on my notice board so I remember. So, I'm going to show you how to make an envelope. So, I don't want one this big. This is it's like 9 3/4. I think we're going to go down to, should we try 7? I can't see it on this. Let's just take, I'm just thinking of a second project, so I might just take 3 inches off there, and then we'll take 3 inches off here, and that should leave me with a square. A square that is 6 3/4. Let's see what size envelope we get from that. So we are going to just fold it in half, point to point. And fold this way. And I just want a little crease in the middle there. There we go. So we're going to put point to that centre bit where the cross is. And the same on that side. Put my glasses on so I can see properly. And then we fold the top up. And you sort of decide how high up you want to go so that this point is on that centre line. And then I'm going to fold. This is when I like to get a board in, because I like to make sure I am straight. And then we will come down here. I'm going to move you up a bit. We're not quite straight there, but I think we'll get away with it. Come down there. And we'll just go along there. Fold that down there for our envelope. And then we'll do all the burnishing, and we need to fold this up. But that will fold underneath to have our envelope shape like that. So that is my envelope, and that's worked out okay in terms of the orientation, and it has that lovely crinkle which I really like. Right, so we're going to glue this down. Somebody asked me what glue I have in this little bottle and then the big bowl, and if they're the same. Yep. And they are collal glue, which this person is from the US. So collal glue is a glue that we can easily get in the UK, and it's cheap as chips. It's I buy mine in a litre and I pay £20 for it, whereas other glues cost a lot more. And it's a solvent glue, and I am told that it's very like Beacon 3-in-1, which we would pay about £8 for a very small bottle. So I use this. Right, so I'm just taking these little corner bits off. Now you could take this bulk out, but I tend not to. And if you're an inker, which I am, I will ink round. Oh, I want to just do the corner. Would have been better putting a bit of paper in with it. Didn't. Because it's quite thin. Punches don't like thin. Like something substantial to chomp on. There we go, will do. Could leave it pointy if you wished. I like them with a round bit. Like to ink along that crease as well. Just go down the outside, like the Buffalo Girls. Go around the outside. And then we need to do this. That should be them all done now. So now we need to get glue up there, up there, oh, let's go up there. So we're glued on the outside and on the inside. And that is a napkin and parchment envelope, and it's, I say, it's got a lovely feel, and then it's just something really pretty hooked in a page. As if that was a page, and then you could just hook it round like that, and you could use that as a tuck spot. And then on the other side of the page, again, it could be a tuck spot, it could just be pretty. You could decorate further if you wanted to, and then you've got an envelope to pop something in and it's just a really nice feel. You can do exactly the same thing on dressmaking patterns, using the tissue from that to do the same thing, or you know, any other sort of tissue paper that you might have. You could do it too. So tissues will be thinner than this, so you know, it will give you a different effect. So that's that bit. So we had some strips, Jez, didn't we? Yeah. So we've got this little strip. So what I thought we'd do with this is find the centre. It's there. And then we can fold you down. Fold that side down. So we've got ourselves a point. And fold it over like that, and then fold this up so it's slightly above that crease, and that is another way of making an envelope. So we'll just stick them down. I make these quite often. They're really simple, easy to do with a strip. Any sort of strip you could do this with. Because it's greaseproof paper, it does take a little bit longer to glue down. So that's like a faux envelope, and it's like you could have that as a little hidden journaling spot to write on, or you could close it up and have it actually as a little envelope that again you can pop round. I think I will. I'm going to fold the top bit down a bit. Can I go down a little bit? Yeah, just a tiny tad, Jez. Just a tiny tad. So we'll just glue this down. So as that orientates that way, that would make a nice little envelope that you'd put on the side. It's just wee. Could sew around it as well. That would be another little look that you could add to that. And then we have another strip here. Could make I could make a flip over bag with that. So what I might do, fold the top down. Now I could just make it like a paper bag, so leaving a space there. And I'm going to just trim it because it's not quite straight. There we go, nice and straight now. We can just put the two edges together, then I can snip it and it will be even. Like that. Nice. So that could stick on a page, and it could be a double pocket, one at the back and one at the front. Or it could be clipped. It's upside down on the back, but it's all right. So nice little envelope there. So that is what I got out of one paper napkin. Maybe should have inked this before I started. And for extra security, you could sew around. go. So I might quickly run a stitch around this to make sure it's nicely secured. It's just not dried properly yet. So actually, whilst it's wet, I won't. So leave that one as it is. I really like that. So that is using paper napkins with baking parchment. So hope that was useful, and yeah, I'll bring you another little project, or maybe a big project, very soon. Thanks for watching me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye now.